Welcome to Python Basics with AJD. In the last video, we looked at Pandas for data analysis. So Pandas is that very important Python library for data analysis. And of course, one thing you want to do under data analysis is we want to bring in external data into your environment for analysis. And for Google Colab, I tried to do that in the last video, but I later decided to make a separate video to take care of anything that has to do with uploading data into Google Colab for analysis. And that is the essence of this. Okay, so introduction, Colabs runs your notebook on an ephemeral Linux VM, and your working directory is /content. So anything you upload directly to the VM disappears when the runtime restarts. So for persistence, you'll usually mount Google Drive or pull from a reproducible external source like URL, Git repo, Cloud Bucket, etc. So below are the major ways to bring data in, plus tips, pitfalls, and troubleshooting. So the quick orientation we need to get, just like we said before, that the current working directory, that's CWD, is /content, and the temporary storage, it's actually a temporary storage because files saved under the /content are lost when the runtime stops. So persistent storage, if you want to always access your data set, so you can mount Google Drive or load from a remote source, you can re-download. So, and one way to check what you have, any data set you already have on the device, is to run this code. But first of all, if you want to know the data set you have, right, the manual way is to click on this file you have here, and then you can see this sample data that you have right here. Okay, so we have the sample data thing here. So if you click on it now, you see you have California housing test, California housing train. So it shows that the sample data contains some data sets for machine learning jobs like that. Okay, so but if you don't want to check from there, you can also check using Python code. All right, so from what we have here now, so to check what you have, you just do this. You have you import the operating system, the path lib, the system, the platform, and import pandas as PD, of course, which is good for data analysis. And then you can then print the current work directory. So from the operating system, so you have OS operating system dot get current working directory, and then you can print the content now. So you say OS, you list whatever you have in that directory. So you can run this now. And then it shows you, okay, the current working directory is /content like we've been told already. That's where any data set you have on Google Colab is stored. And then the contents are this .config and sample data. So if you click on this file now, you see we have something here. This, I suspect this is the .config, and then this is the sample data we have. All right, so these are the two things we have. So by the time I upload another data set, now I'll come back and check, and you see that would have been added to it. Then you have other parts like if you're going by the way of mounting drive, the directory will be /content /drive/my drive, and then the data set you're going to work with. You're going to see all of that as we go on. So the next one we want to look at is how to upload from your local computer. So let's say you have some data set on your desktop or in your downloads, as part of your downloads, or in your document directory or something. So you can actually upload data set from there. But don't forget that once you end the session, the data set will no longer be in Google Colab for sure. So one way to do that is a programmatic upload, which is good for small and one-off files, right? So here, and the code you need to run it, say from google.colab, you import files, and then you have a variable name called uploaded, and that is for files.upload. So you call upload from these files now, and then for f naming uploaded.keys, you now print the file name. So if I run this now, it brings me something. So it tells me I can choose. But what I want to choose is, you see, in the next cell, I want to view the 50 startups CSV documents, right? So I click on choose files, and I know already on my desktop, I have a folder called data set. So I'm looking for that right now. Yeah, I have this data set. So I just click on this. It is a CSV file. As you can see, it's Excel, separated values, right? So I click on that and upload. So you can see that has been uploaded now. So the job is done. So we can do that kind of programmatic upload. And then, so if I come back here and rerun this now, you see we now have 50 startups added. That means that if you check this file, you have 50 startups as part of that, right? So now that that is taken care of, so we have the file in Google Colab. So in this case now, we can then go ahead and view. If you check the playlist on data analysis with Python, then you know that you need pandas to open a file and all that. So we import pandas as PD. So, and we have a function called read_CSV inside of pandas. And with that, we can check the 50 startups CSV. So, so you're assigning DF to it to read that CSV file that you have uploaded now. And then this line 3 is to visualize it. So if I run this now, it shows us that file we have imported. So it's actually a file that contains the 50 data points of 50 startups, 50 startups actually, all right, numbered from 0 to 49. So like that. So with these variables now, R&D spend, administration spend, marketing spend, the state and the profit. They are basically three states: New York, California, and Florida. So we have that. So this is a data set that you can easily find online for maybe machine learning jobs or any kind of analysis you like to do. So now you can see we can use that programmatic thing to upload a file, right? So what if you don't want to use the programmatic thing, right? What if what you want to do is to use sidebar files panel? So you can see this, we have this files panel right here. So I mean, this is I believe this is the fastest, because I mean, imagine you have to write code so that to now prompt you to upload a file. I think that's a lot of trouble, but I mean, you need to understand that. So if you want to use sidebar files panel, so all you just need to do is click the folder icon on the left, this folder icon now, click on it. So once you click on it, so right, once you click on that, then you go to upload button. So the upload button is right here, and then so you can then pick the file you want to pick, just like what we did in the previous case, except that now we don't have to write a code. So the files will also land in the /content. You know, this area now is what we call the /content. The current working directory is that /content. So now I can, since I've opened this now, in the next cell, I want to call bring in the customer behavior Excel file. So you know, the first one was CSV file. So this one is an Excel file. That's why from Pandas now we also have pd.read_Excel. So I want to bring that Excel file in here. So I just go to upload, and then it takes me to that place. So I have customer behavior. Now this one, like I said, is a Microsoft Excel worksheet. The other one was comma separated values file CSV. So now I want the customer behavior. So I'll upload it now. All right. So, and I just say, okay. Okay, I think what it has told me there is that if this, by the time I'm done with this runtime, I'm not going to see this, all these documents that were in there before. Once I close this thing, I'm not going to find them again. So if I go back up to the first code we ran to see the kind of files we have, you will see that one more has been added. So if I run this now, it will show me that I now have I have customer behaviors, 50 startups, the one I uploaded, the sample data was there, and the .config that was there initially. So we can upload files directly like that. I think that's the most recommended one. Of course, you're also going to see how to upload files from Google Drive, especially if you are working with large data set that you cannot put on your computer. So Google Drive is better. So this customer behavior file now, so I can use, so there's a function called read_Excel in Pandas, and I'm assigning DF to it, that's data frame. And so, and the way to call anything from here, you can see the way we call the other one too. I think we had to use that. Okay, because we called it programmatically, we could just go directly and do that. But because this one has been called, this one was uploaded by using the sidebar thing. So here you have to pay attention to this. So instead of just saying customer_behavior.xlsx, we need to now say /content/ then content_behavior like that. So you have to pay attention to this. This will be using this a whole lot, right? So now if I run this, it will also show me the content of that. So we are talking about customer behavior. So this one now we have a 75 row by 6 columns data set. So that means it has 75 data points and 6 variables. And the variables are customer ID, the age of the customer, gender of the customer, purchase frequency, average spend, and loyalty program membership. Where 1 is for whether the person is a member and 0 is for if the person is not a member. All right. So that's for customer behavior. Now, okay. So I like to do one more. We have uploaded a JSON file, a CSV file. We uploaded an Excel file. What if we want a JSON file? So I'm just going to do Control Enter to create a new cell, and then here now I want to bring in a new data set. So I'll click now. Here we have a JSON file called city population. So I'll click on that and bring it in. So now that's a JSON file. That's city population. That's JSON. And then so how do I run that? So I'll just go to the new cell I created. Where's that now? Okay, I think I will. Okay, this is what I copied here. So now, since we are talking about the JSON file, so we had for CSV, we had for Excel, now we have for JSON, and then of course it's city population, right? City underscore population. So I have city underscore population, all right, and then JSON like that. Then I run that, and then of course it just reads. I mean, this is a made-up data set. We're talking about population of different African cities. So you can see the names are really African looking like that. So we have Zalanga, Kwevura, Ndomasi. They are children population, youth population, and adult population. So that's that. So we can import all kinds of data sets like that into Google Colab. And once you have it there, then when you get to data analysis with Python, you'll understand, you now get the details of how to actually do all this analysis thing. But here we're just introducing ourselves to, some of these concepts because we're dealing with Python basics. So don't forget to note that local uploads are best. Local uploads are best for small to medium files. So we are working with very small files, then data, so this direct upload is fine. But if you want to do repeatable workflows, you may want to prefer cloud or URL methods. Maybe something that was domiciled on a particular website, you can bring it in, or most likely Google Drive. And that takes us to the place of Google Drive. So if you're working with very heavy data sets, Google Drive may be the best place for you. Maybe you don't want that thing to take up space on your device. So you can upload it to Google Drive and then call it here. Now let's see how we can use Google Drive. So in this case now, imagine that of course, Google Drive is the most common and persistent. When we talk about Google Colab, there's a way Google wants you to have to use everything Google. So Google Map, Google Weather, Google this, Google that. Now we're talking about Google Colab and then together with Google Drive. So this is normal to use Google Drive. So, and if you want to use Google Drive in this case, what you need to do is you need to first of all mount the drive, right? So the first time we used Google Colab like that, where was the first time? We imported files. So another thing we can do now is to mount it. So, and the way to do that is to say from Google Colab that you import drive because we want to access drive. So from Google Colab, import drive. And then in the next line, you now have to mount the drive. So you have imported the drive already, so you now need to mount. So you now say drive.mount, and then so you're bringing everything in drive, you're bringing it to the content, the / content / drive. So it means that here now you're going to have your Google Drive joining this data set. That's what both the ones that were there and the ones we've just uploaded so far. So if I run this now, okay, it automatically, so it says connect to Google Drive, right? So you need to grant permission. If you don't want it, you say no, but I want it. So I say yes. And then, of course, I'll now have to start the whole process. I have to continue with my login details and things like that. All right. Okay. So with this now, I can just continue. Now, I think it's all done. So it's taking a bit of time. So once that is done, you're going to see the Google Drive joining all these whole data sets. So that one, yeah. So you can see we now have the drive here. So this is Google Drive right here. So everything in my Google Drive is here on this account. So on that drive, and I have my drive. So if I click on it, so you see everything I have there. So of all this, not all of them are data sets, right? So but I know I have one Excel file there that I've used for something about data analysis before. So I'm trying to look for that. Yeah, it is this people.xlsx I have there. So I'm looking for that right now. Okay, yeah. So you see people.xlsx. Okay. So but so my whole drive is there. So I can then go ahead and say that. So you can see when it was done, it says, so here we say follow the link, authorize and paste code. That was what happened there. Then the next thing is we want to access anything that has to do. Maybe if you have a CSV, JSON, or XLSX file, you can then go ahead. So here you import pandas as PD, and then the path is don't forget the string thing, the quotation, then backslash content, backslash drive, backslash my drive, backslash people.xlsx. So you can see this people.xlsx. Or if you look around and see anything else that looks like a data set format like JSON, CSV, and so on and so forth, you can actually bring them. But I think, yeah, okay, I have another thing here. I have the employee sample data. Maybe I'll bring that into after now so you can see the beauty of that. Okay. So here now I have import pandas as PD. So then I'm working with that people.xlsx, and then my data frame now is pd.read_excel because it's an Excel file, and then this path now. So it means you could actually just throw in this thing inside there directly. So without creating lines. So you could do this in 3 codes, in 3 lines. So if I run this now, it will show me what is in that place. So it shows me we have name, age, city, and salary. Adebayo 25, Lagos 100,000, and so on and so forth. The number 11 is Pierre, 36, Paris 210,000. Then we have some missing values like that here. All right. If you want to do something like this, I can just copy again, and maybe I just do alternate enter so that I can create a new cell for me automatically. So I paste this. So I think I cited another data set, employee sample data. Great. So maybe we want to see what is in that employee sample data. So I just come here and say employee sample data. That is also in my Google Drive. So we have that employee sample data. So if I run that again, it shows me all of that. So you see, we have, okay, this is a big file. So we have employee ID, full name, job title, department, business units, gender, ethnicity, age, hire date, annual salary, bonus, country, city, exit date, and all of that, right? So here we have 1,000 rows by 14 columns. So that's quite a big data set. So, and it's from Google Drive, right? So with that done, then what if you are done analyzing, doing something with your data, and then you now want to save it back to your Google Drive? So you can then say, maybe sometimes you just need a portion of the data set you have mounted, you have uploaded. So you now want to save it back to Google Drive. So you can save results back to Drive. So you can say out, you can call it out. So you say out is equal to content backslash drive backslash my drive slash result.csv. So you now say df. So to underscore CSV is a function inside of Pandas. So you now say the data frame, now you are writing it to CSV, and you can then run this. And once you do that, you can then go back here. You see that results thing as part of the data set that wasn't there initially. So you can see we now have results.csv that was not there before. It's just added. So maybe you are done with something, you want to save it back, you can do that. So some tips: don't mount inside loops. Okay. So if you mount inside loops, it can cause some problem. So if you reorganize files in Drive, you have to recheck your paths. So maybe the address is going to change. For large Drive files, prefer reading in chunks. So this is what it looks like to read in chunks. All right. So this is what it looks like to read in chunks, or like that. So of course, if I run this now, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, I think there's some read Excel got an unexpected or chunk size. Maybe I need to do something with that, but not to worry. But I mean, the most important things about uploading files have been done already. All right. So every other thing I'm going to do will just be like it will just be like to point you to some other possibilities. So I may not even run the codes because they are just directions. In case, for instance, you are bringing data set from public URLs from some websites, so you can use wget and CURL which is fastest for simple downloads, right? So if you actually have a website where you have a data set, you can just copy the URL directly like this. But this is just an example, so it won't work. So I won't even bother running it. So you can use this exclamation wget -0 data.csv or whatever it is. So if it is Excel or JSON, you can do that. If you don't use wget, you can use exclamation curl -l blah blah blah. So, but I don't have any website like that where there's a data set. But if you have a data set like that from a website, you can just paste the website and then you get your results. Then you can also use Python requests. In fact, in the next video, we'll be talking about the requests library, which is very good for APIs, right? So we'll see that in the next video. So, but to upload dataset from APIs, you can also do this. So maybe you have a website and you don't have a URL like that. So put the put the link here, and then you can run this for requests. And then that can also bring data sets into this place. So it means you can use Python requests to bring data sets into Google Colab. Then there's direct raw files links from GitHub. So you can click raw, then copy its URL, ends with file, use wget and curl. So for notebooks or binaries, you can have git clone, and that is better. So we are going to see all of that below now. So from GitHub, you can bring datasets from GitHub if you have the link, right? So you can clone a repo, for instance, just say /git clone https github.com username repo.git. So if you have this link, you just put it here from GitHub now. So you can upload dataset from GitHub directly into Google Colab. That's what we're basically saying right here. Using all these codes, you can have them. Then you can pull only a subfolder with sparse checkout. So you use all this whole coding. So I'm not, I don't have that, as I'm not even bothering. Then you can also bring dataset from Kaggle. So you can install and configure once per session. So you have exclamation pip -q install Kaggle, and then you can upload your Kaggle API token like this. So following this whole coding thing, all right. And then, of course, if you don't want to go through all the stress, you can download a dataset from Kaggle, put it on your computer, or put it on Google Drive. You already know how to upload directly from your computer or from Google Drive, so you don't have to go through all the stress. But in case you ever have a need for it, that's why I'm showing you all of this. Then you can also download a data set, from that Kaggle like that directly. So you just have, just follow this coding. Then from Google Cloud Storage, you can bring data set too. So in this case, you use GCSFS or Pandas. So, and this is the code that goes with that. Then there's GSUtil for copying files. So you just, follow this coding, right? Then for BigQuery, I think BigQuery has something to do with SQL and all that. Yeah, it has something to do with SQL for sure. So in that case, from BigQuery, you can query tables and export to files, right? So maybe if you query a table and you get some information, you can actually export to file and bring it into Google Colab. And this is the way to go about it. I'm not implementing all that. I'm just showing you the code to show you the possibility in case you have to ever work with that. So this can work for you. So for me, I think the most important thing have been said: how to upload directly from your computer, if you want a programmatic kind of upload, which is not necessary, by the way. It's because basically just have your data set on your computer or have it in Google Drive and follow the steps you have there. Then you can also bring data from Google Sheets. So by the way, from Google Sheets, so you can download directly to your computer, put it on Google Drive. But then if you want to take it directly from Google Sheets, you can use GSpread plus Pandas. And this is how the coding goes, like that. And then if authorization fails, you can switch to OAuth with a service account of gspread.oauth. You can bring data from Amazon S3. So in that case, it requires credentials from Boto3 or something like that. So this is how the coding goes. For those who are in that space, you'll understand how that works. I don't know, but I'm showing you the possibility. So for security, prefer environment variables or a secret manager. Never had code keys in notebooks you share. All right. Then for Dropbox, you can bring dataset from Dropbox, OneDrive, or SharePoint. So for public stroke shared link, which is quick, you can use the Dropbox converts question DL equals 0 to question DL equals 1. And then you use wget and you get the link from the Dropbox like that. Of course, don't forget, from Dropbox, you can download the dataset directly and upload directly like I showed you. So that option is always there for you. So I'm just showing you these possibilities in case you ever need to do this. Okay. official SDKs, which are reliable for private data. So you can do pip install Dropbox, and then you can use Microsoft Graph, pip install MSL request and follow OATH device code and blah, blah. Then from Google Drive, if you want to do Google Drive direct download now, so that's for large public files. So for large files shared publicly, GDown can handle confirmation passages. So in this case, now you just need something drive.google.com/UC file ID. So if you have your file ID, just put it here and you can download directly from Google. All right, Google Drive, that is. Then you can also handle archives and compressed files. So handling archives and compressed files. So if you have compressed files, you can actually use them here in this kind of place. So in that case, I think the data itself will be this, whatever data it is, .zip. So you bring it right in here. But of course, it doesn't cost anything to download a zipped file, unzip it, and then upload directly, like I've shown you. So, but these are possibilities. So you can also do streaming stroke chunk reads for large CSV and JSON files using the kind of coding you have here. So for new line delimited JSON, that's NDJSON, you can actually do this. All right. Then for caching and reproducibility, you can cache directly. So use /content/cache or mount drive. So import OS and do all of this. Then you can check before download. You can do this right here. So you make sure you pin versions of packages and commit your notebook. Then for credentials and secrets. So for safe handling, never had code API keys in shared notebooks or use environment variables in session. And this is the kind of thing you need to follow. So for repeatable work, consider service accounts like GCP, AWS with least privilege. And then finally, for file type recipes, now we see that we have CSV, that's comma separated variables, and we have TSV, tab separated variables. They are run using the same function from Pandas, that's read_CSV. So whether it's CSV or TSV, you can use read_CSV for both, right? Like that. So you can add SEP equals \t for TSV if you like. Then for Excel, we can use read_Excel coming from Pandas like that. So we have the Excel file, the sheet name. So Excel file can have different sheets like that. So you can refer to a particular sheet. So if sheet 1 has been renamed as a particular name, so you put it like that, and then the engine is open PyXL, and then you have packet, so with that you can do pip install pyarrow, and then you can have pd.read_packet, then file.packet like that. Then for feather, you have pd.read_feather, file.feather. Then for images, so from PIL import image.open, image.png. Then for audio, of course, you can even bring audio data into Google Colab. So, I mean, we didn't go through most of these ones, right? But of course, if you need to do this, so you can do pip install Librosa. So you have librosa.load, file.wav file, then SR is none. Then for Pickle, Pickle is the way you save machine learning jobs. Pickle or JobLib. Yes, yeah, JobLib, yeah. So you have Pickle. So import Pickle. OBJ is pickle.load, open file, PKL, whatever it is. Then trust only known sources. Then for geo kind of data, so you can pip install GeoPandas, and then you have gpd.read_file, file.geojson, right? So some common pitfalls in bringing data into Google Collaboratory, right? So we have common pitfalls and fixes. No such file or directory. So confirm path. So if you get a comment that there's no such file or directory, then you need to confirm path and working directory. And the way to do this is to import OS and print OS or get current working directory. And then there are permissions /403. So if it says file not publicly accessible or missing AATH, then you may need to mount or authenticate. Then drive rate limits. So you can retry with delays. Use GDown for large public files. Then for corrupt zips, we download, verify size, and checksum. Unicode errors, you have to specify encoding. All right. And then, of course, there's one way to do that. So pdf.read_CSV, file.csv, encoding, UTF-8 on bad lines, you skip, right? The minimal starter template. So minimal starter template for this whole thing, copy into a new notebook. So things like this. So import OS, get current work directory, mount drive, and do all of this story like that. So these are just showing us all the possibilities we have. So quick decision guide now. So if you want to do one-off small file from your laptop, you use files.upload. So you can upload directly to the files, to this side, like we've seen. Then persistent across sessions, you need to mount Google Drive. So if you need to always use a particular data set, you may need to mount your Google Drive, right? Then public file on the web. you need to use wget or curl or requests. Then code plus data together, you can use git.clone. If you want to upload large public Google Drive file, you can use gdown. If you want cloud buckets or data warehouses, you can use GACS, BigQuery, or S3. For spreadsheets, you can use Google Sheets via GSpread. All right. So then you can also do some kind of cleanup. So you can free space if needed using the kind of code you're seeing. Yeah, and with this, we come to the end of this video about loading external files on Google Colab. If you forget everything, don't forget, you can have data sets on your device and upload directly, to this side where you have that folder, right? So, and don't forget, any file you upload there, once you close the session, you will no longer find it there. So just make sure it is somewhere where you can always access it. The other way is you can have your file, your data set in Google Drive, and then you mount Google Drive and bring it up anytime you need it. So thank you so much for listening. Let me know how helpful this video is for you. And if there's something else you'd like me to try out, feel free to let me know. If you have subscribed already, thank you so much. If you haven't, of course, you are missing a lot already. So why not go ahead and click on the subscribe button and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. Then you want to take it a step further by becoming a member of my channel. Click on join so that you can have three different levels. There are three different levels of membership currently, and they give you different special privileges, right? Afterwards, we can continue to interact. Ultimately, don't forget to like, share, comment, so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing Python right. Bye.